Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here. And I just figured out recently I'm just one ACC speaker among the MCC and PCC coaches. It's very interesting and very honored to be invited here. And who am I? Add some words about myself. I'm a certified coach, ACC ICF, with more than 400 hours coaching practice. And I think almost 50 hours with English-speaking clients. Not too much, but it's enough for me. I'm a trainer of programs at university, global coaching, and I have some own projects, and I'm a co-owner of event marketing agency To Be Clever, and just gave birth. And I'm active traveler, and at currently time and studying supervision and coaching in London. Supervision Coaching Academy. And my topic today, how coaching and English changed my life, my personal story. And I think this topic can be interesting, maybe useful for coaches who have just started to work with international clients or just thinking about it. And often we have challenges in our life at just the right time. It could be relationship, or it could be new job or new home, something for which we have waited, or something we have been afraid to have. And this happened, and our life changed for this moment forever. That exactly happened with me. I'm not the first, and I'm not the last person who had to accept the challenging and grow from them. And one moment. And I'm sure all my colleagues know the most famous, I think, coaching tools, the balance wheel. And here is my balance wheel. And five years ago, I changed my life. The same time in 4 most important spheres. I got married with men who didn't speak Russian. I spoke only conversational English. It was very basic level. I left Russia, my family, my friends. I resigned my job where I was successful and happy. And I lost my language. Of course, I found love and new opportunity and my big desire to develop myself. It was difficult and happy time. And that time helped me to find my currently job. And when I found out that finally I want to be a coach, I felt more stability, more energy, and I started to build my new life. And my balance wheel slowly began to straighten it out. And every day I have been improving my English and have been working with my coaching skills. This is two of important life areas which will be influence on my attitude at my new country, and which help me feel better. For a long time, English and coaching, it was two different directions, didn't connect with each other. And to be honest with you, with myself, I didn't like English so much, but I love coaching. And of course, I couldn't imagine that I really, not only in my dream, will able to work as a coach with English-speaking clients. It was like to be in Mars, almost impossible. Let me know who of you felt similar feelings. I think all of us have our own fears and resistance to do something new. But as we know, most of it is only in our heads. Yeah. I see a chat. I too, I learned German. Thank you very much, Nara. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your help. And your support. Mark Twain, the famous American author, said, "I have lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. And my fears were like this: I will never be able to speak English as well as I speak Russian. And this is a problem for me." They say this belief is common for people who have a big experience to make a presentation or speech in native language. And as well, it is common for perfectionists like me. Oh no, I can't. I have to, or I must speak English or whatever language perfectly or fluently. And then I remember a joke. My husband said to me, Americans filling in CV indicated the level of their knowledges of the foreign language as a fluent, even if they only know how to order coffee or croissant. I always remember it when my perfectionist is waking up. And my second fear, if they don't understand my English, what will I do? And my mind immediately helps me with the bright pictures of fully and uncertain condition. Oh my gosh, I will lose my face. Even worse, I will lose my clients forever. It's really, mind is very creative. And my third fear, how can I help my clients if I will not be able to aware all their meanings? I cannot be a good coach without perfect or fluent English. So here we start judge ourselves without purpose. And I don't know how long I could protect my fears. But one day everything changed. I discovered a new specialization in coaching fields. That was supervision in coaching. I was very interested to develop as a supervisor, and I decided to have a special knowledge how to be a supervisor in coaching. And at the same time, I had a surprise. The education possible is only in English. It was scary, it challenged me, but it didn't stop me. And finally, that time, coaching in English together were connected with each other. And I was very inspired and very motivated to improve my English. Nobody could stop me. I had 2 interviews with 2 different schools in London. And the first one rejected me because my English wasn't good enough for them. But the second one accepted me. And now, after almost 8 months, I'm keeping my energy to develop like a coach and supervisor with both languages, Russian and English. And my first observation of it, we do what we really want to do. It is very important to aware what is the main attractive goal or purpose to improve English or the other language, or to do something else. And even now, from time to time, I ask myself, what do I want? What do I want to speak English? Why do I want to speak English better? What will change in my life if I will have my coaching and supervision practice in English? How can I support myself if I will sabotage my practice and study in English? And what I will miss in my life if I quit to do it? And it still supports me, keeping my direction. 8 months have passed since I started to have my English practice as a coach and supervisor in coaching. I'm considering it to be a big, interesting journey where I investigate my resource and I note how I'm getting confident in my English. Even more importantly, my friends, my clients, my partners confirm it. It is like an additional motivation for me to move ahead. And I still remember my first experience and an amusing, funny situation when I just started. My client was a powerful businesswoman from France, and I wanted to be very useful for her. And I was, of course, very thankful to her for choosing me. And when we had just a first meeting before we decided to work together, I shared my observation and I said, it seems you're a very attractive person who communicates with the people very deeply. She looked at me very strangely and moved her body a little bit back and asked, what exactly do you mean, attractive? And my intuition immediately prompted me, try again. And I said, I meant actually, you look like a person who can inspire other people. She breathed a sigh of relief and said, okay, your English is good enough, but you have to be accurate with words. This experience was like a cold shower or a first step on a glass bridge across the mountain river. I was afraid, and at the same time, I was very curious to go ahead. And I moved, and I was on my way. I celebrated my first experience my loss in translation. And of course, I do again and again. Even now, I do mistakes. But I consider my mistakes as a construction material to build my way. And now that I have had some steps of my inspirational journey, and I have accumulated some small experience. I would like to share them with you. And I said before, I consider my coaching and supervision practice as an interesting journey where I not only can enjoy beautiful places, but where I can learn and develop as a person, as a profession. And here is, I collected 5 important things, lessons, which usually help people in their normal studying process, and which support me to grow in my practice with international clients and colleagues, and support me in my personal studying process. And first one, from simpler to complex. As we know, the brain is a network of neurons, the individual cells of the nervous system. And we know when we are studying or creating something, new neural connections are formed. The new information is distributed over the neural network in the metaphorical wholes. This is also called distributive memory. And it helps us to move in the learning process. As a rule, we start to learn something new from simpler to more complex. And this helps us to move forward in learning. All our information is stored on our internal disk. And even if we forget something, some of our neurons are out of order, the brain is able to restore, recreate the new image, the key image. For example, when we hear some unclear word in a conversation, or read a text with the missed letters, we can understand the general meaning of what has been said or written. When I'm in the session, I listen to the text. I'm paying attention to familiar words, accents or stresses, gestures or facial expressions. It helps me to understand the general context. And the ability of the brain to establish associative links between familiar and new information helps me to advance one more step in each session without special memorization of words. Second one, I call step by step. We grow, we develop only when we take challenges. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi has named it as flow. Motivation and inspiration for development comes when I'm still afraid, but there is already an interest to try something new. It happened to me a year ago. at previously conferences 2017, I admired the courage of my colleagues. I remember Karina Zaruba and Irina Steinovskaya. And I decided to become a speaker at the conference in this year, 2018. At that time, it seemed like I was preparing to jump in from the big mountain. So of course, that decision scared me. My first thoughts were, "You're crazy. You will die." And then I asked myself, okay, how can I do it another way? And it wouldn't have happened with me if I hadn't taken a few small but important steps or actions before being here today. And these actions calmed my limbic system and stimulated interest in taking on new challenges. The art of small steps. And third one, keep in focus of main subject. The result of a person's activity depends on his focus on the topic. As we know, we can keep focus on 5 or 9 independent objects. At the same time, our brain is looking for ways to easily work with these objects. So it tends to the gestalt, to create a familiar and understandable image, which will be the basic. What do I mean? When I go into the session with client, I keep a focus on the structure of the coaching session or supervision session. Because if I will keep focus on all their meaning, I may be lost with the information. This helps me associative to connect what the client says now with which block of the session, coach session, and it helps my mind to be calm. Even I could not understand all clients' meaning, I know where we are now, which part of the session. We're observing their issues, or we checking resources and looking for opportunities, or choosing new strategies. And I always have the opportunity to ask a checking question. Where are you now, according to your request? Where do you want to go? And then I can find the questions which will be more useful for shifting and thinking of my clients. Thank you, Dmitry. And I'm continue. Fourth, my fourth lesson, being creative and unpredictable coach. Psychologists note that absurd or paradoxical statements attract attention and make our think. The contradiction of common sense forces our minds to seek a way out of the dead end. How can we use it? When I understand that I'm stuck and don't understand what my client is saying now, I'm asking a logical question, an unpredictable question. For example, imagine that we are on an island where every inhabitant speaks his own language, and there is no common language. How could you explain to me your main idea? What you said now? What was said? Or I often use the metaphors or clean language questions. If there is some image or metaphor, what you're saying now, what does it look like? And these techniques help me to activate of clients' thinking, supporting their interest to be processed, and we're usually moving ahead. And a fifth lesson is like paying attention to your own body. Sometimes I feel the strange feelings, like I suddenly understood the important things about the client's issues. It can be called insight or intuition, and it can be important or not. We will never know until we check it out. The one thing which can happen, the client will not be interested of what you will say. But if he does, the session can move in a deeper way. And what I noted, sessions, what are we not in what we are not in one's native language, give more change to coaches use their intuition. It's like using of third measure in session. I called it my inner coach or my inner supervisor. And we are enough. We should trust ourselves, our inner voice. And this focus supports me to develop in cross-culture coaching and be more confident and more flexible too. The cross-culture subject is getting more and more important for the world. It is more than just to understand and speak in different languages. Many people are moving nowadays around the world for many reasons: business, new residence, marriage, long-term traveling. We move outside of our countries and we move inside countries as well. All of us have our own culture, which 100% influence our behavior and our perception of other people, of situations. And we make a decision through our culture as well as through personal working or life experience. A coach helps people discover themselves from the cross-culture focus as well. When I discovered a new focus in my coaching practice, a cross-culture approach, I discovered a new level of depth in my work with English-speaking clients and with Russian-speaking clients as well. It was my story, and it was my observation of how coaching and English changed my life. If you have questions, I will be happy to answer.
First of all, Irina, thank you so much for sharing such a personal experience and such an inspiring experience. Can you give an advice to a coach who is just thinking about relocating to another country, and who need to find new clients in another country, and who needs to study a new language?
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting question, and I have many variation of answering. First of all, to believe in self and their self. We are enough. Don't need to judge, and don't need to compare which I'm coach, better or worse, or we're enough. Just be yourself. Do what you want to do. Do it slowly, step by step. Focus on what is more important now for you. And trust your inner coach or inner voice. Yep. It's what I did, what I do.
Thank you so much. And we also have a question from Zanara. Dear Irina, the things you are sharing in your presentation reflects my personal story. Could be you please share how was it for you to find balance in the four main aspects in your life, particularly between your relationship and professional develop as a coach? How do you choose priorities? Maybe you have your own best practice on that.
I choose priority. Say again, Maria.
How did you choose priorities? Maybe you have your own best practice on that.
I found the balance when I understood what I want in my life. It makes me calm. It makes me confident. And when I understood which coaching practice I want to have and how I can do it the more effective way, I had my balance. And more important, that my family supports me. If I answered the question, if not, tell me no.
We will wait for the response.
Mm-hmm.
And right now
I can see the question. I'm in chat, but I can see.
I know that Dmitry has questions right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Irina, thank you for your nice presentation. So I have two questions for you. Maybe it will help all coaches here just to improve and to promote their cross-culture coaching. So the first question, so what was your first step? How did you start to do coaching in English? And maybe what was your professional supporting environment for this process? For your first months, maybe for your first sessions. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I shared my my first experience with foreign clients. But it's a good question. My first step when I decided to be a cross-culture coach, I started with a very useful class, Dmitry Hokhlov class. And I remember during we worked during 2 months. And what happened for me at first, I lost my fears to speak English with mistakes. And the environment where I did it was very useful and very helpful. And first, my advice for people who want to improve English, to find the right environment where you can be just a safe environment where you can grow up and with whom you can grow up.
Okay, great. Great recommendations, Irina. And my second question, I asked it Olga Solodova today, and I want to repeat it and want to know your opinion. So what are going to be your next steps or actions on improving your English for coaching?
Mm-hmm. I have some smart plan, like I called it. Every day I'm improving my English, and I'm in the studying process now. I'm studying in English, and every day I'm learning something new, and I'm having practice almost every day with my English-speaking clients. And it's simple, but it's a smart plan to improve English. Yeah. Just practice. Practice and practice.
Okay, practice makes perfect. We know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I also want to say that Zanara said thank you about the previous question, that you answered it a lot, and she's on the right path. And also several thanks from other participants from our chat. And we also have a question, and it is all again about you. If you give a support advice to yourself in a time you were moving to another country, what you would say right now to yourself to support?
Mm-hmm. I remember when I moved from my country to outside of my country. I didn't prepare it. I didn't pay attention to myself. I didn't listen myself. I hid my fears inside me, and I thought, oh, nothing happened. I just moved. I just moved from one place to another place. And okay, I will create what I will do there. And if I would do it again, and I would be more careful with myself. I would be more care about myself, my inner me inside me. Yeah, I would be ask myself what I want from other country, what the possibility I see now, and what can be like surprise there. And yeah, I think it's important to do it. It's my observation, my experience now, and same. It's my recommendation tip for who wants to move outside of the country.
Thank you so much. And I see that Alexander also has a question.
Yeah, I also have a question. Irina, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And my question is about finding in your clients, foreign clients.
Mm-hmm.
So how to find a client, the first question.
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is how to get money with foreign clients.
It's very good practical questions. It's not easy, of course, to find the client. It doesn't matter. It's an English-speaking client or Russian-speaking clients. And I'm lucky. I'm in the learning process now. in the English supervision English school, and I have a chance to have practice like peer practice, and now I started to have a paid practice, paid sessions, and some people recommend me. My colleagues recommend me to their friends or their clients, which have not business requests, are just life coaching requests. And I ask my English speaking friends about helping me, recommend me to their friends, to their acquaintance, and it really works. Yeah, everybody can help me. And a second question: how get I money?
Yeah, about money.
What do you mean exactly?
I mean that sometimes when we only start working with foreign clients, we have free sessions.
Yeah. It happens with me as well. I started from peer coaching with English speaking colleagues, and then we decided to pay each other. And then when my limbic system was quiet and I can create, I can think, I was more brave to suggest the paid contract to my clients. This step by step.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. And the last question, a short one.
Yeah.
Maybe if it is not so personal, but I know that for my colleagues it can be interesting. So, is the price for your coaching session in English and in Russian the same, or it's different?
Oh, it's a good question. I'm just a beginner, and I don't have a variation of prices. I keep my just one price for Russian-speaking clients and for English-speaking clients. I work the same. I work. I use my energy. I use my knowledge the same way. English-speaking and Russian-speaking clients, with English-speaking clients and Russian-speaking clients.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your answers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a great experience for me. It was challenging, and it's. Dmitry asked me what will be your next step to improve English. Just now, right now, I had big step to improve my English, and I feel like my energy arised, and I want to develop, to learn English to more and more, and really I'm happy and inspired by it. Thank you very much
that you shared this step with us.
Thank you.
Also have a lot of thanks in our chat. Evgenia said thank you for your magic, energetic, and useful experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you for your patience, your supporting. Thanks.